presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
Cardinal fans have been looking forward to this weekend series for quite some time. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cardinals, game one of a three-game series here tonight from Busch. Clint Hurdle, former Cardinal, leads the Pirates and has them believing. 6 games behind Cincinnati, the Cardinals a game behind Pittsburgh. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. Al, when you look at these two teams, you really have to say they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, there's consistency. There's also good and there's bad consistency. Pittsburgh's lost for 19 consecutive seasons, but if you look at the last 3 years, they're picking up momentum. They're getting better. They're just coming off a very rough homestand, but they think they have the talent to weather the storm. The Cardinals on the other side, the last 3 years, they have been very consistent, and the Cardinals believe that they've got good things to come.
A lot of star power in this game tonight. They have McCutchen. We have Beltran, but there's another guy we're going to look at when we come back. At Busch Stadium, 2 powerful hitters in the middle of each lineup, Andrew McCutchen and Carlos Beltran, both having MVP-type seasons for their ball club. A lot of power and a lot of hits. But the guy that Jake Westbrook has to worry about is Pedro Alvarez. 15 RBIs against the Cardinals, including 3 home runs. In fact, he has 1/3 of his club's RBIs against the Cardinals in 2012. Alvarez in the lineup. He'll bat 7th against Westbrook. When we come back, we'll look at Tommy John and the surgery that bears his name. Orthopedic surgeon Frank Jobe reconstructed Tommy John's elbow. Thanks to Jobe, dozens of Major League players have extended their careers, including the Cardinals' Jake Westbrook. With a look back on what we now refer to as Tommy John surgery, here's Courtney Jones.
In the second inning of a July contest versus the Expos, 31-year-old Tommy John, with a league-best 13-3 record, felt elbow pain and walked off the mound. What followed? Experimental surgery with a tendon transplanted to his left elbow. This surgery was performed by Dr. Frank Jobe.
It had never been done in an elbow of a pitcher. I tell you what kind of a doctor Frank Jobe is. He said, look, if you don't have it done, he said, I can guarantee you, you will never, ever pitch Major League Baseball again. If you have it done, the chances are you won't pitch Major League Baseball. And I said, there's no downside risk then, because I want to pitch. So let's have it done.
It took 18 months of rehab before John took the mound again in 1976. On April 26th, Tommy John threw a 7-1 gem against the Pittsburgh Pirates in LA. What made this truly remarkable? It was Tommy's first win since 1974, 21 months after the experimental surgery that bears his name saved his career.
The thing that I'm most proud of after the surgery, I never missed a start in 13 years. And so obviously what Dr. Jobe did, what I did in my rehab was right on.
Not only did Tommy John pitch to a very impressive 10-10 record, he earned Comeback Player of the Year.
To have Tommy come back after he injured his arm and be able to be successful and go on and pitch, that's a remarkable feat. And there's a lot of kids today that's had Tommy John surgery.
Before arm surgery, Tommy won 124 games. After surgery, he won another 164 games before retiring in 1989 at the age of 46. Despite winning 288 games in his career, 7th all-time amongst lefties, he's known for the revolutionary surgery that's named after him, which has saved countless pitchers' careers, including his own.
In for a very important game one of a weekend series with the Pirates. The Cardinals are anchored by Matt Holliday. The Pirates' big slugger is Andrew McCutchen. Both on display in game one. Cardinal baseball coming up next. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Everybody's excited for this series, the Pirates and the Cardinals. Here's a look at the Pirates batting order. A couple of new faces for Clint Hurdle. Starling Marte, the left fielder. Travis Snyder came over from Toronto. McCutchen, Jones, and McHenry in the middle. Pedro Alvarez has been very good against the Cardinals. Barmes, Mercer, and the pitcher, James McDonald. That's the lineup that will face the Cardinal, the right-handed veteran, 12-8, Jake Westbrook.
Well, Jake pitching some of his best baseball as a Cardinal.
And it's strike one.
He's won his last 5 consecutive starts. He really had struggled against the Pirates in the past, but his last start against the Buccos, he beat them for the first time. Now 1-5 against Pittsburgh.
Beautiful night for baseball in St. Louis. Clear skies all day long. Temperatures at 79 degrees at game time.
Ricky, here's one of their exciting young players. In many ways, they compare him to McCutchen. Yet he doesn't have the plate discipline. And right now he's got 22 hits and 24 strikeouts.
Ground ball to left side. Freeze has it. Quick throw. Safe at first. There's the speed of Marte. Nice play by David Freeze, laying out. Good strong throw, but not in time.
Well, he has all the tools. He has tremendous power at all fields. He can run, obviously, can throw and do a lot of things, so they're excited about him. And we expect a lot of ground balls tonight. Nice play by David. Gets up, strong throw, but speed right there just does beat it out. Our starting pitcher, another attribute for Jake Westbrook, is he leads the National League in inducing double plays.
And I'll try to get Travis Snyder to do just that. First pitch low to Snyder.
Where is Tabata? Where's Presley in AAA?
Pirates not afraid to make some moves in the middle of this season just to continue to better themselves.
Well, Tabata got that big long-term contract and everything, but now finds himself at AAA. I said Presley is possibly just got caught up in the numbers game, but both of them got into a slump and really didn't know how to get out of it. So go back to the minor leagues, work your way back.
Snyder came over to trade for reliever Brad Lincoln. He spent the last 4 years up and down with the Toronto Blue Jays. Quick move, he got it! Quick feet, quick hands, quick move, and a good tag by Alan Craig.
Oh yeah, they can make some rookie mistakes too. Big series here. You get the leadoff man on, and then you immediately get picked off. And the tag is applied before that arm got back to the bag.
Good call. Nice look on our Fox Mo. Interesting beginning of this game, an infield hit and a pickoff. The Cardinals still reeling a bit. At least the fans are reeling a bit. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
That's a better way.
From the game last night. Cardinals lost it in the 9th. Craig gives way to the second baseman, Descalzo. That probably was his play. We'll look at the defense behind Westbrook. Holiday, Jay, and Beltran are the outfielders. Freeze for call, Descalzo and Craig the infielders. Tony Cruz behind the plate again tonight. Yadier Molina still dealing with stiff back issues.
But he did get on the field and did a little bit of light tossing and some baseball activities, so that's a marked improvement.
Be careful with this guy, Andrew McCutchen. Yadier Molina, 3 straight days now that we've not seen him in the lineup. Deep in the outfield, slightly to pull on the infield for McCutchen. One of the game's bright young stars.
And really coming through with obviously a career year. It'd be hard to not anoint him the MVP if the season ended today.
I think if it ended today, it would be an easy choice. That's how good his numbers are. Jake Westbrook not on the same page at this point with Tony Cruz, so they're talking about it.
Yeah, and they'll get together, but we have seen that Tony Cruz handles the pitching staff extremely well, and everybody has confidence in him. Nobody better in the game than Molina, but in my mind, Tony Cruz has been outstanding as his backup. Only the 22nd time he's starting a game this season because of how durable that Molina is.
Again, Westbrook has to step off.
Wow. I thought they just told each other what they wanted to call. But we've seen catchers put down signs and then forget what they put down, or vice versa. Better than
that was worth the wait.
I was going to say, but it's strike 2.
Well, what you like about a guy like Jake Westbrook, he's not going to get agitated at his teammate, at his catcher in that situation. We've seen players that have done that before, where you're not on the same page with an infielder or your catcher and you just kind of lose your cool, but you don't expect a guy like Jake Westbrook to do that.
When I was down in Atlanta, good friend Gene Garber, an excellent reliever, and his best friend on the team was Bruce Benedict, the catcher. And one day they were really having trouble communicating.
Swing and a miss. Strikes out McCutchen.
And they were best friends, but Gino called out Benedict and said, hey, look at him, I'm having enough trouble trying to beat the opposition. I don't need to beat you too. Help me out. Right there, good swing over the top of a sinking pitch.
Garrett Jones had a big day yesterday. A couple of 3-run home runs. He's had a nice August, hitting .383. And he was down last time we saw him. We thought the swing had gotten long and he was getting beat inside. Wasn't the same hitter that he was a year ago, but he's back on track again. 19 homers, 64 RBIs.
15 RBIs this month, tied for third in the National League, but 6 of those came yesterday. Hit well in August, hit well on the road of late.
Pirates have 4 players with 60 or more RBIs: McCutchen, Walker, Jones, and Alvarez. Cardinals also have 4: Beltran, Holiday, Freese, and Craig.
Rick, when you look at the numbers offensively between these two clubs, the real difference is the bullpen. Theirs is much superior to the Cardinals.
We'll see how that plays out in this series. Good start for Jake Westbrook and the Cardinals. Game 1 against the Pirates here tonight. John Jay, Alan Craig, and Matt Holliday are 1, 2, 3. Carlos Beltran, David Freese, Daniel Descalzo will play second base. Tony Cruz behind the plate, bats 7th. Rafael Furcal starting to swing the bat well again. Plays short. He bats 8th. Westbrook 9th. And the pitcher for the Pirates is James McDonald. First saw him in the big leagues with the Dodgers. Our Enterprise Bank and Trust numbers show that he is making his 24th start and has not pitched well of late. Second half not as good as his first.
Well, you look at the last 6 starts, he's struggled. Inconsistency with his breaking ball. A lot of pitches up over the middle of the plate. Well, we've seen him be very effective, and he was in the first half. First time the Cardinals see him this year.
2-1 with a 3.38 ERA against the Cardinals lifetime, so they've seen him some in the past. Good live arm. He's a 27-year-old right-hander, and he also has a big curveball, which you saw there.
Came over from the Dodgers a couple years ago.
He seems to have simplified his delivery since we saw him as a rookie. Came up to the big leagues young.
Father has ties to the Rams.
Leadoff walk. Good start for St. Louis. John Jay aboard. Pirates very similar to the Cardinals in terms of their defensive numbers. Marte, McCutchen, and Snyder. McCutchen the best in center. Jordy Mercer, a rookie, is getting a start at second base. Ian Barmas up the middle, Jones and Alvarez at the corner. Michael McHenry has come out of nowhere and done a nice job for Clinton Hurdle. He's the catcher.
Neil Walker dislocated his little finger the other day, and so Mercer getting a chance to play.
Walker has not been disabled, and what he is reporting is that he's going to just play as the pain allows him to, and so I'm not sure how much, if at all, we'll see him in this series, but they don't really want to disable him for 15 days. He's that good a player. Alan Craig has done very well against the Pirates in his career. .378 career average against Pittsburgh. You can be sure they're going to be careful with him.
The way he's hit this year, you wonder who he has troubles against.
Good point.
Good breaking ball there. They say with McDonald you'll know pretty quick whether it's going to be a good game or not.
The 0-2. Hard shot handled by the second baseman Mercer, and they're going to turn that into a double play. Well hit by Craig, but right at the second baseman Mercer.
Now Craig hit that ball very, very hard, and they wanted the ball elevated. You can see how way up there, get the ball down. I think he's not going to be disappointed with the result.
But if you evaluate accurately, you know you missed your spot by about 3 feet.
If he would have hit a spot, it probably would not have been a double play.
Matt Holliday, 0 for his last 9. And just 1 hit against the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals did win 2 out of 3. Another hard shot. Mercer getting tested early. The ball finds you, doesn't it? John Jay playing hard baseball, sliding into second. No score. No score, top of the second inning. Jake Westbrook working to McHenry, Alvarez, and Barmas in the Pirates' second. From the first base side of the rubber, the sinker is low. Sinker seems to have a lot of action in the early going. We've also seen a good changeup, and Jake has been remarkably consistent this year, especially since the All-Star break. That's not a ground ball. It's a big league pop-up right there, and Furcal has it. Let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game, Alan. We're going to focus on run support.
Yeah, it's very different. As you see, McDonald, when he's on the road, fourth best in major leagues, he gets 6.9 runs. Jake Westbrook turning it around the other way. When he's at home, it's the third best in Major League Baseball, as he gets 7.70 runs. So something's got to give. Sounds like it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Sure does. I promise I won't mention it more than one more time, Al, but last night's game was not a high-scoring game.
I was going to say I loved everything about last night's game except for the ending.
2-1 Cardinal loss. They did win the series against the Diamondbacks. Had a chance to sweep, a couple of ninth-inning home runs.
When you win the first two, you're not happy with just winning the series. And then you're down to the last 2 outs where you think you've got one of your best wins of the season, and it's taken away from you. But
no doubt deflating for Cardinal fans, but I think the players have turned the page and moved on to this series, and I think that's maybe a good thing, that you have important games against the Pirates. Pedro Alvarez continues to rake against the Cardinals.
Ricky,
boy, they just can't get him out.
No, and it's no exaggeration, but Cardinal pitching kept Alvarez in the big leagues. Remember, they were here to start the season, and he just crushed Cardinal pitching. But the rest of the National League, he really struggles against, and especially in the early going, he was kept afloat just by what he did against Redbird pitching.
And he really likes Jake Westbrook. 7 for 14 now against Jake in his career.
I wonder if he's ever met him.
I don't know if he likes him that way.
Oh,
likes to face him.
Had a little conversation with Clint Barmas. A lot of family and friends will be here. He went to Indiana State. Ends Indiana.
There's the Westbrook changeup. Barmas out front. 343 in his last 10 games. When we saw Barmas last, he was under the Mendoza line. He was making a lot of errors. He only has 11 errors to this point, and I guarantee most of those were in the first 2 months of this season.
The month of August for him. Hit 4 of his 6 home runs on the road. Showed a lot of power a couple of years ago when he was with Colorado, and one of the reasons Houston picked him up last year, expecting to get some of that power. It didn't materialize, but still got a lot of tools.
Just missing the outside corner. That's Jim Reynolds. He's our first base umpire here tonight. Lance Barrett is behind the plate. Jim Joyce is the crew chief. He's at third. James Hoy, the second base umpire. There's the crew chief. Many think he is one of the best, if not the best, baseball umpires currently. Ground ball to left side. Freeze has it on the second for 1. Close play, but they get him. Cardinals turn a double play. 5-4-3. They double up Barmas. Westbrook has been doing that all season long. fan-friendly values throughout the 2012 season. If you're looking for ways to save some cash, find great value at the ballpark, make sure to check out the Fan Value Corner at Cardinals.com/values. Carlos Beltran, 28 homers, 83 RBIs. Switch hitter batting from the left side against McDonald. And he swings at a high pitch, fouls it back, 0-2. Beltran is just 1 for his last 12.
I was just going to say that. Just in a little funk right now. But we know he can turn around and be a difference maker real quick.
So Holiday and Beltran 1 for 23 against the Diamondbacks, yet the Cardinals were able to take 2 out of 3. That means the production was coming from other places. You had no Yadier Molina in the lineup.
Yeah, and this, when you look at these two teams, Ricky, you know, the Cardinals have a much higher batting average, 275 to 247.
ERA's better collectively.
But the real difference is the bullpens.
McCutchen, very good defensive player, as well as all the offensive numbers we've seen from him. Beltran strikes out. Really have good star power here at the ballpark tonight. And we have good star power in the Central Division as well.
The pitch is up. 79, a little hump in a breaking ball, but a swing and a miss. David Freese had a couple infield hits yesterday.
Slider is strike one. Triple Crown leaders, all from the Central.
Cutchin leads in average, Braun with home runs, and Beltran in RBIs. All three Central Division teams.
Freese bounces out. I was asked today, of all the Cardinal players this year, who is the most pleasant surprise to you? I was actually surprised by my own answer, but I'm interested in yours. Of all the players, Al, who has been the guy that has come through more than you would have thought? It was not an easy question.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Lynn would be fine. I'm not saying I'm going to.
Right.
We thought it would be to this degree, but I thought he would hold his own. You know, Loesch may be my answer because 12-2, 19 quality starts. He's got, 11 no decisions, and most of those he gave up only 2 runs and went more than 6 innings. We knew Alan Craig could hit. Yadi's Yadi. Wainwright, with the fact that coming off of Tommy John, but I really felt he would be close to 15 wins. Hopefully he'll go past that.
The answer I heard coming out of my mouth was Carlos Beltran.
Well, okay.
And the only reason I thought of him, and again, it's not to belittle any of the players. Jake Westbrook's having a better than average career year as well. Maybe a career year by the time it's said and done. But Beltran, you just weren't sure about injuries.
Well, that's
and age. And yet he is one of the most dominant hitters in the National League right now.
When the Cardinals signed Beltran, I thought 2 things. One, it was just a great situation because it was only for 2 years. So if he did get hurt, you weren't on the hook for 5 or 6 years. And I felt like if he was healthy, he'd be productive. But you're right, his production's been off the charts.
1-2-3 inning for McDonald. Beautiful night. No score. Fox Sports Midwest girls, Kayla and Amy. They're going to be drafting their team. They're going to get help from Kay Adams, fantasy sports host. Today, Kay revealed her #1 draft tip for August 22nd, Fox Sports Girls Fantasy Football Draft. Go to foxsportsmidwest.com for the Fantasy Football Training Camp.
I heard that. Kayla?
Amy and Kayla?
But what's the expert's name?
Kay.
Kay was absolutely stunned with some of the questions the girls asked. And she almost turned over and said, they must be the experts.
How about that? It's that time of year, isn't it? All the players are into that, by the way. All the Cardinal players, they make a big deal out of that. They have for a number of years.
They have a party. Probably on the next road trip, they'll get together, draft their teams, and they make a big deal out of it.
Always a good thing for families to do together. To connect.
And players to do.
And players. Players are like a family for 6 months.
Sometimes you're with your teammates more than you are with your families towards the season.
James McDonald throws right but bats left. Leads the Pirates with 6 hits. Has 4 sacrifice bunts. This is not a Pirate team of old where you'd have 2 or 3 starting pitchers that you really didn't want to face.
Rick Rhoden and Donnie Robinson.
That's 2 of them. Rick Russell wasn't bad.
Russell was an outstanding athlete. Saw him play basketball in a charity game, and as big as he was, you would never know it the way under the basket and dribbling down the court. I mean, he was electric. Owns a golf course last I knew.
Think about those Pirates teams. I think of John Candelaria too, who was one of the nastiest left-handers you're going to have to face. And I remember Tommy Hurst sliding into second base the way John Jay did in the first inning, and John Candelaria yelled at the top of his lungs in Pittsburgh, "Hey, Herb, next time you come up, I'm going to hit you right in the middle of the back." And in Pittsburgh, maybe 2,000 fans at the time, everybody heard it, and guess what he did?
Hit him in the back.
Yes, he did.
Umpires didn't do anything either.
No, they didn't. Neither did Tom. We have a scoring update. Ryan Ludwig, former Cardinal, does it again. Another home run. Our current score, 6-3 Cincinnati. That game now in the 5th inning. Ludwig also a former Pirate. We keep talking about him as somebody that's hurting us, but he's also hurting the Pirates.
Came over at the trade deadline last year from San Diego to the Pirates. He had the distinction the last 2 years prior to this year at the trade deadline being traded to a first place club, and the club went right in the tank.
3 ground balls. Very, very Jake Westbrook. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT U-verse. Visit att.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. MyKiaSt.Louis.com. And get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Cardinals set for the bottom of the third inning, facing the right-hander James McDonald, 10-5. Having a very good season, much like the Cardinals starter Jake Westbrook. And he looked very, very good in that second inning. A couple of strikeouts, got Beltran and Descalzo. And a quick out here as Tony Cruz grounds one right back to him. Pirates with 19 straight losing seasons, but I think this is a club that is not really talking about that. They're tired of talking about that. I think Clint Hurdle has addressed it before, and it's just time to move on as far as he's concerned. And this does not seem like a team that's going to fully fold, although they've only won 3 out of their last 10.
Well, they had a rough homestand, and I asked Nick Leyva, did you see any signs of the crack in the armor like what happened last year? And he goes, absolutely not. He said they learned an awful lot from that experience. And there's Nick Leyva there with his arms crossed of a year ago, and he said we have a lot better talent right now than we had a year ago. So they're not anticipating that, and you have to go through some growing pains. You've lost 19 consecutive years. You have to teach young kids how to win.
And Nick Leyva certainly knows that. So does Clint Hurdle. Nick Leyva, mentioned as a Cardinal coach for many years, also as a minor league manager. Of all the coaches and people I've ever been around, nobody has yelled at me more than Nick Leyva. I mean, he wins by a long shot.
And for young kids, the way I always interpreted that, if somebody's still yelling at me, they still think there's hope.
No question. Well, I love him. I mean, we have a great time seeing each other,
but I mean, seriously,
it is a positive.
If somebody stops yelling at you, they've given up on you. So when people are still criticizing you, it's constructive criticism, and it's trying to make you better.
Pirates had a fold last year, but you look back at the last time that they were good, that was 1992, and the records very similar, but it was really a different kind of team. Al, more home runs this year, 134. They're third in the National League in that department. The pitching was really good back then.
The funny thing is Bonds and Bonilla and Van Slyke and all those guys, they only hit 69 home runs, but it was a different team, as you said, and a whole bunch of losses in between.
In 1992, we're going to call that the a lot of home runs era.
I don't get what you mean.
Trying to be cryptic here, Al. It was some outfield.
This doesn't look like the pitcher who is in his last 6 starts has allowed 30 earned runs in 31 innings. What McDonald has done in his last 6 starts, and he looks pretty sharp right now.
A fair number of those runs have come early in those games too, but he's off to a good start. Trying to go 1-2-3 again. Leadoff walk to John Jay. He was erased on a double play. Actually was not a good pitch in that inning. Alan Craig hit a bullet up the middle, turned into a double play, but since then he's been good. Very good. 4 strikeouts now for McDonald. We have ourselves a pitcher's duel.
offers free generic oral antibiotics. That's right, they're free. These are some of the most commonly prescribed antibiotics. There are more than 30 of the most popular strengths and dosage of antibiotics available for free at Schnucks Pharmacy. All you need is a valid prescription from your doctor. No other pharmacy offers you this. That's the Schnucks difference.
Who will be our Schnucks difference maker tonight? If you're hitting the road, you can take Fox Sports Midwest coverage of the Cardinals with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cardinals out-of-market game live online and on your favorite connected devices in HD quality. Visit Cardinals.com to get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. And we've got ground balls and strikeouts everywhere so far tonight. So much for run support for both of these pitchers.
Still early.
I know. And we do have a good ball game going here. Travis Snyder, right fielder, hits from the left side. He singled in the first.
Began the season at AAA Las Vegas. Remember, he was in the Toronto organization. Hit .355, 17 doubles, 13 home runs, and 57 RBIs in just 61 games. And he was acquired from Toronto, like you said, for Brad Lincoln.
You mentioned some of the names that aren't here anymore. Tabata in the minor leagues. Alex Presley not here. A fast outfielder that had some promise, and maybe we'll see him again. But there's no Nate McClout. There's no Casey McGee, who was traded to the Yankees. Evan Meek, an all-star a couple years ago, back in the minor leagues. So some new faces for Pittsburgh.
Nate McClout, they gave him a big contract. He was going to be their center fielder, and then when McCutcheon came along, he made him expendable. They were able to unload that contract. Tabata, they gave a big contract to. Garrett Jones burst on the scene a couple years ago, and the second half showed a tremendous power. Old saying, easy to get here, hard to stay.
First walk of the night for Westbrook. He and Tony Cruz seem to be back on track in terms of pitch selection early on in this game. I'm not sure if it was a big concern to you or not, Al, but a lot of conversations on the mound back and forth, a lot of shaking.
Not a big concern, but it's something you don't like to see.
Right.
And you know how hard that Tony Cruz works, you know, in the preparation before a start. You know, with the starting pitcher, they get on the same page, they kind of go over a scouting report on everybody, formulate a game plan, and Eric Lilliquist has just kept that program intact that they had from the last regime.
Learned a lot from Dave Duncan, that's for sure. Up the middle, under the glove of Furcal. Base hit for McCutcheon. So Westbrook with some work to do. Good effort by Furcal. He came up empty.
Set up away, the ball down there. He gets what he wanted, a ground ball. It finds a hole.
Inches.
Talk all the time about scouts in the stands. Marge Schott, she was right. She said, you know, what do we need them for? All they do is watch baseball games. But a scout will sit there and he goes, okay, it's a double play situation. Did Westbrook get a ground ball? The answer is yes. You just found a hole, but you're not graded down for that.
That ball hit hard to center. Snyder had to hold up to see if that would carry all the way to John Jay, so he's not able to score. That ball hit right on the nose. Bases loaded now for Pittsburgh in the fourth.
Snyder had to turn and look and make sure that ball got down so he couldn't score, and with nobody out, the bases are loaded. Derek Lilliquist will talk to Westbrook and Cruz. Maybe they're not on the same page.
And maybe he has something to say about this batter too, Michael McHenry, who's having a real breakout season. 11 home runs on the season for McHenry. He's really the backup catcher, but had a chance to play quite a bit. Now he's in there a lot, and he's been productive. And in the first inning, he just got underneath a Westbrook delivery, had a very comfortable at bat, and you don't want to make a mistake with him.
I remember Clint Hurdle from his days in Colorado knew about this young minor leaguer.
They both came from Colorado. McHenry played his college ball at Middle Tennessee State from Knoxville.
See a 355 with 5 home runs with runners in scoring position. That'll keep you in the lineup.
And you take the double play here, wouldn't you?
Excuse me, that was McCutcheon. Henry's 263.
That ball gets away, not even close, and no play at the plate. That pitch was about a foot in front of home plate, and Jake Westbrook seems to have lost his command here in the 4th inning, just like that. He tried to do a little too much with that.
Just look at how he overthrows that, and really so far out in front, it's hard to have the proper technique to get over there and smother that ball.
I think overthrow is the perfect description of that. So it's 1-0 Pirates. Walk, a couple of hits. They're not done yet. Westbrook again unsure of the signs. So McHenry steps out. Not the pace we're used to seeing with Jake Westbrook.
Now, and this is the first time we could ever recall anybody having trouble with Cruz.
Ground ball to short. Booted by Percal, and he's going to not have enough time to get McHenry. Almost threw it away.
Oh, man. Alan Craig saved a very, very careless mistake. That all messed up here, but now he rushes and tries to throw the ball, and Craig comes off the bag.
That's good hands right there by Craig, and a good decision.
And yeah, a lot of times that first baseman will try to stay on the bag, and then he'll complicate because he can't reach that ball. And
it's a field play, isn't it? He's got to know that they have no chance to get the runner, so you become just a defender at that point, and now you've got to face Pedro Alvarez. That ball gets away from Cruz. Play at the plate, not in time. That may have been a pass ball, because I think Tony Cruz just missed that pitch. Now, whether he was crossed up or not might be a different question.
No, he just misses it. And McCutcheon there, he sees the separation. He comes on home. Can't emphasize enough how the communication between a pitcher and a catcher. Now, a catcher is there to just guide, make suggestions. That W or that L goes behind the name of the pitcher, so the pitcher better throw what he wants to throw. But when you have something in mind and that catcher puts it down, it just reinforces the belief that that's the correct pitch.
Back to Westbrook. He's got it, and they've got the runner between third and home. Cruz is going to run him back, run him back, and they've got him. Nice play by Jake Westbrook.
Two things there, you know, as Westbrook should have ran at the runner and got him in a little rundown, but he did get rid of it a little too soon, and then Freese got it to Cruz, and then Cruz did the right thing, running right back to second or back to third base. Run him all the way back, so then the runner at second can't advance, and you get the out there also.
Perfect form for Tony Cruz. You put the ball up, you show the ball to the infielder, you don't fake it, you don't move your hand because that will confuse the fielder, and you force him back to the base. Well done by Tony Cruz for his part. So perhaps Westbrook can minimize the damage. I would say this has been a ugly inning so far.
Pirates credit. They're taking what the Cardinals are giving them, but if you were to ask which team would make some careless plays, you would think it would be the younger team, not the more seasoned and veteran ball club, one with a lot of experience going down the stretch. The Cardinals are the ones that don't look like they know what they're doing.
We've had a walk, a wild pitch, a pass ball, and an error in this inning. Not to mention a couple of base hits. Armas may have hit into another double play. 4-6-3. That's much better. Cardinals give Pittsburgh a couple of runs. They trail 2-0. Photo day. Be one of the lucky fans allowed onto the field to take photos of your favorite players and coaches. Field access is on a first-come, first-served basis. So to ensure your front row seat to all the action, visit Cardinals.com for tickets.
Let's go back to the rundown. And another thing that Tony Cruz did correctly as he's running back to the bag. So he's showing the ball there if he needs to throw it, but then he puts it in his glove. And then make sure he tags with the ball in the glove and more secure there. You're right about that little thing of showing the ball but not trying to fake throwing, because that just dekes your fielder, not so much the runner.
We saw one of the Arizona pitchers, perhaps it was Kennedy, maybe it was the series before, where they kind of did a fake throw and it threw off the fielder.
Sure.
Because you start to jab at it and then react, and you can't actually put your glove in the right spot, and also forces them to close in too quickly on a rundown. 1-2 to John Jay, leading it off for St. Louis, trying to get those runs back here in the fourth. Jay doesn't like that call, and neither does Mike Matheny and Mike Aldrete.
Ricky, I think you would agree with me. I'm sure some viewers are thinking about last night's game, and you see now 5 strikeouts, 3 in a row. But some people are saying, well, that was such a devastating loss last night. This is the reason the Cardinals are playing this way, and that's absolutely the furthest thing from the truth.
I would agree that there are times where that could happen, but I've had no feel for that at all from this team.
And I think this ball club is so proud, and the offense is proud. They know that they let down the ball club by only scoring one run. It's a lot different if all of a sudden you would have had your normal 4 or 5 runs. Those 2 solo shots wouldn't have looked like anything.
Hard hit to left, and it's past a diving left fielder, Marte. Alan Craig, a bullet to left. The 23-year-old outfielder lays out, tries to make a spectacular play.
Well, they told me he is a very, very exciting player. And he's going to make some mistakes, and he's going to do a lot of things good. As a pitcher, you appreciate a guy trying to make a sensational play for you with nobody on base. Got 2 runs out there. There's already 1 out.
Double anyway.
Yeah. And the effort was there. It just came up a little empty. But as a pitcher, I applaud that.
He bounced up quickly, too, like 23-year-olds do.
He's got the speed to go track it down and keep it just a double.
You know how long it would have taken you and I to get up after doing that?
We said we could have dove.
We'd be on our knees right now trying to catch our breath. And he just bounced up like it was nothing. Like he was an Olympic gymnast.
Maybe he saw some video of Ozzie.
Ozzie here at the ballpark tonight.
That's right. He signed Ford Plaza before the game. Made a lot of fans happy.
And he's headed to third, and he is out at third. Alan Craig tries to advance on a ball in the dirt. Close play at third. Does not go the Cardinals' way.
And when you're down by 2, you're in scoring position, you've got to be safe. And it's just a little too close to. It's not worth the gamble. Even if he was safe, going to be called out with the ball beating you by that far. You love to try and be aggressive, but be under control.
Holiday is retired. Cardinals trail by 2. Night in Old San Juan, September 5th. It's a Latin-themed affair that will feature dancing, authentic Puerto Rican dishes, and celebrities invited by Carlos Beltran. The evening benefits Cardinals Care and the Carlos Beltran Foundation, which has outreach efforts in Puerto Rico. For information about this event on the 5th of September, you can go to carlosbeltranstl.com.
And we don't have to go to San Juan to take part in it, do you?
No, you don't.
Go to the Four Seasons.
Oh, I love the music.
Four Seasons, I think, is where he is holding that event.
And you'll get a chance to see a very nice feature this weekend. Jay Randolph, our colleague and good friend, has done a nice feature on Carlos Beltran and Roberto Clemente. And he's resting now, Jay Randolph, after a procedure that he's had on his neck. So we're going to wish our good friend a speedy recovery, and I know we'll see him back at Busch soon.
Well, the good news for Jay is he's going to have a long, long life to catch up to me.
Yes, he is.
With procedures on the neck. Didn't know about that, and then we do our sincere, speedy recoveries.
Mercer strikes out. Good start for Westbrook here in the 5th inning. Like to see a Cardinal hit one up there in Big Mac land tonight. Don't forget, Cardinal fans, that McDonald's is offering that $1 off discount on McCafe products.
I'm going to amend that, Rick. We want to see somebody hit it up there in Big Mac land during the game. That's Holiday's ball and batting practice. Knocked out the A, and the ball's still up there.
We want to be a little more specific, don't we?
Yes.
Those discounts at McDonald's, 2 to 5 every day. A lot of good choices. And I'm with you. Let's see one. And not at 5 o'clock. Let's see one at 8 o'clock. That's right. We've seen some bombs lately, haven't we? McDonald, one hopper to Freeze. 2 outs in the Pirates' 5th. Carsoup.com all season long supports our email the booth question. Jana and Trent from Florissant want to know our favorite nickname for a player in baseball. That's a great question. I like that question.
Oh, I think that's ridiculous. Ridiculous to have players having nicknames.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Why would you want to do that?
The Mad Hungarian is about as good a nickname as you're ever going to get. Very descriptive, very accurate.
Mad or what?
See, some nicknames aren't accurate. One of my favorites, Silent George.
Correct.
Because George Hendrick was not silent by any understanding of the word silent.
First time we brought him to the Legends camp, everybody said, why would you want to bring him? He doesn't talk.
I had people come up to me and say, am I allowed to talk to him? They were scared to death of George Hendrick, one of the nicest men on the planet.
And he had a great routine going with Bob Force. Had everybody's leg pulled in camp, but us that knew George and Bob Force.
I'll say. I can still laugh over that.
Some of the campers, when they'd tell us, this is serious. We got to put a stop to this.
I'm going to tell you my favorite nickname because I think it's the most accurate description other than Mad Hungarian. I just think it is so poetic and fitting. The man here at the ballpark tonight, the Wizard of Oz. When you think about him being a wizard with the glove, his name, and all the thrills that #1 gave us throughout the 80s. Good inning for Jake Westbrook. Cardinals need to start swinging those bats. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Pirates and the Cardinals going at it again. Bedard and Lynn. Game will be on Fox beginning at 2:30. Thanks to our friends at Budweiser for keeping us up to date. Beltran pops it up, handled by Barmas. Out number one, and the Cardinals really not centering very many balls so far tonight against James McDonald.
And you really don't see what he's doing that is fooling hitters either. Do you, Rick?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, talked to McGuire before the game, gave me a pretty accurate scouting report, what he expected of him, and is definitely not pitching against that scouting report. Cardinals with a leadoff walk and a double, and that's it. 5 strikeouts from McDonald.
Lance Lynn and Eric Bedard tomorrow. And Jaime Garcia, Jeff Karstens will pitch on Sunday. Really looking forward to seeing Jaime. Curveball just misses. Even that not particularly sharp.
And leaving it middle half in, you know, it's easy to hit that ball. There you go.
Base hit the other way for David Freese. We like it when he does that. The Reds find a little bit more power against the Cubs. This time it's Jay Bruce. A long one to right at Great American Ballpark. And the Reds lead is now extended to 7-3. That game now in the top of the 7th.
Former Red Travis Wood on the mound. They do have a day-night doubleheader between the Cubs and Reds tomorrow. Hard to win a doubleheader, isn't it?
Sure is. Game number 119 tonight for the Cardinals, which means you are really getting into the home stretch, or at least you can see it, Al, and the games will start to become more and more important, the series and of course the scoreboard. It'll be a fun last 5 or 6 weeks. And how are the Cardinals faring through 118 games this year versus last year, you might ask? We happen to have a graphic on
Well,
that.
remember, the Cardinals were really right in it about this time, and then they faded. And then it was August 25th when they got 10 and a half games back. But the runs slightly better, average slightly better, more home runs, better ERA. And in some ways, you could say teams are very similar, because at this point, both of them last year and now are, you know, a little bit where you're disappointed in the lack of consistency.
Cardinals ended up winning 90 games last year. Very close to that pace again.
Lance Berkman. Good news is that he may go out on a rehab, minor league rehab, on the 22nd.
Not much time for a rehab.
No, the minor leagues in the first week in September. So, you know, they didn't go on the rehab, went old school the last time, and of course it was unusual circumstances. He was hit by a Kershaw pitch right on the incision of his surgically repaired knee.
That would be a boost to have Berkman on the horizon. They've missed Berkman, and we all know how much the pitching staff misses Chris Carpenter.
There's no doubt about that. And you think about Berkman, I was talking with Oquendo today, and he was pointing to Matt Carpenter, and he said, we're having a hard time finding him at bats. And I said, well, just think how tough it would be if you had Berkman on top of it. Those are nice problems to have, and Furcal starting to swing the bat much better.
Curveball, strike one to Furcal. Jake Westbrook, the on-deck circle, has gone 5. No action in the Cardinal bullpen, so if Furcal reaches, Westbrook will hit. Another curveball to Furcal. Robbie 5 for his last 10, 4-game hitting streak.
And like this one, is it's a very high-hanging curveball. Get that down a few inches, and we might have a 3-2 lead.
That one catches the outside corner, and Furcal not happy at all with our home plate umpire. 3 straight curveballs. This is the one that did him in. If you want to be as tall and strong as the World Series MVP, drink milk and track your growth with a David Freese Midwest Dairy Growth Chart. Kids ages 15 and younger entering with a ticket will receive the Freese Growth Poster on Monday, September 3rd, courtesy of Midwest Dairy. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets. Dad explaining to his son how the Cardinals are going to score some runs, come back and win this game. That's what dads do. He has his David Freese number 23 on. Jake Westbrook, 1 pitch, 1 out. Jake now with 37 assists as a pitcher. He's 3rd in the National League in that department. Means he gets a lot of ground balls, makes a lot of plays. And in steps Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen has so many good numbers, I don't know where to start. Maybe I shouldn't tell them all to you. 84 runs scored, leads the National League. Leading batter in the National League. 24 home runs, he's 5th.
What he's done against left-handed pitching.
438 against left-handed pitching. He's good at home, on the road, at night, in the day. Anything else? And oh, by the way, all of his teammates and his managers say he's one of the classiest, most professional individuals on their ball club. So he's got that going for him.
That's enough.
That's right. Big strike zone tonight. So you got to use it. Oh, here's another thing. He's really good here, too. 406 at Bush.
That's enough.
Not done.
Hope he is.
He also walks a lot. Has a good eye and can steal bases. Now I'm done. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Cardinals and the Pirates. Central Division action. Rick Horton with Al Roboski. Beautiful night for baseball. Temperatures in the upper 70s. James McDonald, Jake Westbrook are pitchers. Both have been good. McDonald's been a bit better. And another conversation between Tony Cruz and Jake Westbrook. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, it's game 2 of a huge series between the Pirates and the Cardinals. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser. Begins at 2:30 only on Fox. Garrett Jones has been red hot, so be careful here. Jake Westbrook trying to get that double play. And I wonder, is it pitch selection? Is that really what the conversation continues to be about in your estimation now between Tony Cruz and Jake Westbrook? I mean, can it be anything else?
I'd have a hard time,
maybe?
either that or maybe the fact that they have dinner reservations and you better speed the game up a little bit. That'll help.
Right? Sure will. I also wonder whether Jake is a little bit antsy with the pace in which Tony Cruz is putting down the signals too, because he likes to work extremely quickly, and maybe that's just a pace that Tony's trying to adjust to. Waiting for the sign, he's waiting for the sign, then he steps off. Maybe he's just getting impatient.
You know, Bob Gibson, particularly when he had McCarver catching, they would be so much on the same page that Bob would start his windup, look in to get his sign, and he balked on occasion because he'd be in the middle of his windup and say, "Oh, that's not the one I want to throw," and "That's not what I thought you were going to call," and he'd have to stop his motion. But most people, and just because it's Tony Cruz back there, and we don't want to give any indication that this is a pattern or a problem, because
not at all.
We've never seen it between Jake and Cruz, or Cruz and any other pitchers.
Mentioned McCutchen, a threat to steal, 14 out of 22. So he's been thrown out 8 times. In fact, the Pirates have been thrown out a ton, percentage-wise.
And they have 55 successful steals and caught 39 times.
That's a lot.
It really is. I mean, you almost stop your running game because it's not worth it.
Cardinals have 16 more stolen bases in just 2 more attempts than the Pirates. The 0-2 in the dirt, blocked by Cruz.
We've seen a lot of young players that have really outstanding speed but haven't learned the art of base stealing. Just because you have speed doesn't make you, it probably the #1 factor in becoming a good base stealer, but there is a technique and a style and an arrogance to being a good base stealer.
Jake Westbrook has gone 6 or more innings in 12 straight starts. Trying to make it 13 if he could get McHenry here.
I think, and Loesch last night, I think, was 13 of his last 14. So he picked up his 19th quality start and his 11th no decision. And most of those are games where he went 6 innings or more and gave up 2 runs or less. What would his record be?
Most caught stealing. The Diamondbacks with more, and McCutchen was going on that pitch. He slipped on the bag at second base. Seems to be okay. I think he's asking the umpire, hey, let me know that was a foul ball so I don't get hurt there going into second base. I think that's what that conversation may be about. Politely. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Westbrook. He gets McHenry. Over the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Ford, the official vehicles of the Cardinals. Strike one to Jake Westbrook, who will bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 9-1-2 for St. Louis. One of the 2 runs unearned against Westbrook. Pass ball and an error in that 4th inning. He had a wild pitch as well. Leadoff walk. Kind of a messy inning for St. Louis, but it could have been worse. And he tries to bunt again.
And when he was in the box, no way to describe that other than just an ugly inning. It just got away from Westbrook and the Cardinals. But still.
Could have been worse, though.
It could have been a lot worse. And got a double play to end the inning. That helped. And they picked the runner off, or got the runner stranded and a run down at 3rd.
Fly ball to shallow right. Late jump for Snyder, but he makes the play. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Also brought to you by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Cardinals are a bloop and a blast away from tying this game.
Well, I guess it'll be John Jay getting the bloop and Alan Craig getting the blast. How's that sound? We saw last night how quickly a game can turn.
Boy, did it.
That
pitches.
That door swings both ways, doesn't it?
It sure does. Now Jay has a home run on this homestand.
McDonald has gone through a couple of instances where he's been wild high and can't get the ball down. Delivers the fastball up in the zone.
Part of the problem is the umpire's been calling the ball up.
Agreed. Just 2 walks for McDonald. He has 6 strikeouts.
Now it calls the low ones too. Boy. Now Kendo just got thrown out of this game. And he's saying up over his head, down on his ankles.
Now Kendo had enough. Mike Matheny's trying to save him a bit, but Oquendo is wanting to be heard.
Well, obviously, you can't argue balls and strikes, but Oquendo had seen enough, and it's the same strike zone for both sides, but it's a little bigger than what we're accustomed to seeing. Of course, the Pirates yesterday, they saw Kemp and Don Mattingly get ejected from a game. Let's look at this last pitch. Oh, look at how far outside that is. So the pitch before looked like it was above the shoulders. That one's 6 inches outside. They're waiting for a first base coach. As Mahoney will go over to third base. He's quite familiar with that as he was a AAA manager and he coached third base for Memphis. And somebody's got to get their pants on. Mike Aldretti with
okay, now that's a new one for me.
He's impersonating Steve Lyons. Always be ready, right?
Always be ready is right. Now, Chris Maloney also did some third base coaching when Jose Oquendo had a bout of the flu early this year, and Mike Aldretti, the hitting coach, is at first, and John Mabry as the assistant coach, I'm not sure whether or not he'd be allowed to. So when somebody's thrown out,
it's my understanding he is not.
Ground ball to the right side. Good play by Jones, and he's out at first base. Bang, bang play there, and the Cardinal fans aren't happy with that either, but it looked like he
the Cardinal fans have gotten into it, and sometimes an ejection by a manager or coach fires up a ball club, and in this case it's getting the fans all riled up. Nice play by Garrett Jones right here. John Jay can run, so he can't take too much time. Pitcher's responsibility to get over there and cover, and it's going to be a bang bang play, and he's out.
And you also have to credit Jose Oquendo, because I don't think there's any doubt that he was trying to save John Jay there as well. John Jay was frustrated with that at bat, and before you get a player thrown out of a game, I think he just felt like it was his responsibility to take that burden on and let the umpire know that the entire team wasn't happy. And maybe fire him up a bit.
Let's hope. Change tactics.
Bob Force used to say all the time in our dugout, hey, sometimes you got to do something even if it doesn't make sense. do something different.
Yeah, what you're doing is not working, so try something.
We've had close plays, bang plays all over the place tonight. Pick off early on, that came in the first inning. And we had a double play at first base, successfully completed. And then this bang play at first on John Jay. And many discussions about many pitches that were called strikes by Lance Barrett. Really both clubs.
Ray Surge out to talk to McDonald after the walk. That's his third of the game. Getting activity in their bullpen. It's Resop.
Searage has his say. Every Sunday during the 2 hours prior to the Cardinals game, you can enjoy free frozen treats and win fun prizes in the Ford Plaza courtesy of North Star. For ticket information, visit Cardinals.com. Crowd definitely amped up a bit after Jose Oquendo was tossed for arguing balls and strikes. Had his say.
Holliday's hit 361 this year, and maybe this is the time for his home run in Big Mac land.
You wanted a bloop and a blast? How about a walk and a blast?
And if my blast comes. Cardinals since July the 1st have the best record in the National League at home, second best all baseball with a 19-6. 20-5 would have looked a lot better, but 20-6 would be okay. Win this game.
1-1 to Holiday. Big swing and a miss.
First 35 games, the Cardinals were one game under 500 at home, and that just didn't make sense. Such a tremendous environment. Sea of red, enthusiastic fans are all pulling for the home team. There's a lot of visiting teams that come in here and they're just in awe of this atmosphere, and it picks them up too.
Two and two to Matt Holliday. 81 RBI, second only to Carlos Beltran, who is 2 ahead of him. Ground ball foul. He tried to wait on that breaking ball. Cardinals have won 16 of their last 24 games against the Pirates here at Busch Stadium. That number's in their favor. James McDonald just 1-2 with an ERA of nearly 9 since the All-Star break. That number should be in the Cardinals' favor, but they trail 2-0 here in the 6th. Holiday strikes out on a ball in the dirt, and he is retired on a throw from McHenry. So the Cardinals strand a runner. Nothing doing offensively yet. trivia question. Name the last two teammates to combine to win the All-Star, National League Championship Series, and World Series MVP awards in the same season. And the answer, 1979 with the Pirates, Willie Stargell and Dave Parker.
79 was an odd situation where you had co-MVPs in the National League. You had Willie Stargell and Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez's numbers were drastically so much better than Stargell's, but that was the World Championship year. We Are Family. Pops was the leader of the band, and Keith wasn't on a winning team, but his numbers were so good that end up being co-MVPs.
And the debate has raged ever since then. Is the MVP the best player in the league, or is he the guy on the winning team who drives that winning team?
Sure.
And in that case, they decided we'll give it to them both.
And I would have to come out with ballots where they had equal numbers, but I miss Stargell. What a great competitor.
Yep.
Great person. Tremendous player.
Fly ball in the gap. Long way to go for Jay, and it's going to drop in between he and Beltran. Fly ball double
For
for Alvarez. Yep. That guy again. And he is now 8 for 16 against Jake Westbrook in his career.
He plugs a gap out there. He's now 12 for 25 with 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and 13 RBIs in playing his 7th game at Busch this year. And by the way, he was batting .235 for the season when this game started.
And for the second time in the inning, Jake Westbrook has to step off again.
You don't want to go too. It's that one another 2 feet out in front of the plate, but activity in the Cardinal bullpen.
That ball hit in the right center field. I have 2 kind of thoughts about that. I can't see how John Jay could have caught it. He went a long way to get it. On the other hand, that ball was in the air a very, very long time.
Rosenthal, Trevor, warming up.
Barmes trying to do the right situational hitting job, hit the ball the other way to move the runner Alvarez to third.
I didn't see where John Jay was playing, but with a left-handed batter, he wouldn't be playing him around the opposite way. He is playing a little bit Barmes to shade towards right,
which you would expect.
Yeah.
Bunt attempt is fouled off.
Run for a base hit, and if you don't get the hit, you get a sacrifice. Move the runner over to third base. But I think most people would like to see him drive the ball.
Could be a key runner out there at second base as far as this game is concerned.
No doubt.
Appears that most of those pitches that are low and in the dirt from Westbrook are changeups that he maybe is holding on to a little long, or maybe pulling him into the ground trying to get extra break on it, downward break on it. But he's had a few 59 footers. Alvarez the runner at second. Cardinals already trailing by 2, and again Jake Westbrook steps off. Ground ball to short, not going to move the runner over. Vercal throws out Barmes. There's a break. So Barmes has hit into 2 double plays and failed to move a runner over here in the 7th inning.
When Hurdle knows that he starts getting this late in the ball game, he could turn it over to his bullpen and feel pretty comfortable that they're going to lock it down. Bullpen has struggled a little bit of late, but
they are 16 and 11 as a group with an ERA just over 3 collectively. Anchored by Joel Hanrahan. Ground ball to the right side. That would have scored a run had Barmes moved the runner over. Instead, it's just a harmless 4-3.
And they'll pinch hit for McDonald with 2 outs here. His night is through. They'll bring up a pinch hitter, Navarro.
Yamaiko Navarro.
He was recalled yesterday from Indy, where he hit .275, 8 home runs, 32 RBIs in 60 games.
0 for 9 as a pinch hitter so far this year.
2 for 15 with a runner in scoring position. And so McDonald stays through. He goes 6 shutout innings, only gives the Cardinals 2 hits.
Kind of happy he's done. How about you?
I don't know if I'm ever happy to get into their bullpen.
Well,
but
I know.
I think we thought going into this game the Cardinals would do more damage against McDonald, so you got to give him some credit. That's enough.
Navarro, 24-year-old infielder from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. And that small town, wonderful town in Dominican, has produced a number of middle infielders over the years.
It used to be the shortstop factory.
Yep.
Coming out of there used to be a shortstop. I'm showing my age. I can't remember half of them, but there used to be about 8 big league shortstops.
Exactly. Two and 0 to Navarro. Jake Westbrook working on his 94th pitch here tonight. And again, he steps off. 10 times, 12 times.
An inning. See Yachty moving around a lot more and more into this game. I think it's a good observation that his back is feeling much better, and wouldn't be surprised if he's in there tomorrow.
Ground ball up the middle. Descalzo has it, throws out Navarro. Jake Westbrook strands that runner. Time to stretch here in St. Louis. Beltran when we come back. Pirates third baseman Pedro Alvarez, who has become a Cardinal killer. 2 for 3 again tonight, single and a double. And he's part of the 6-hit attack for the Pirates and the 2-0 Bucco lead. Mid-America Chevy Dealers call to the bullpen is the veteran right-hander, 29-year-old Chris Resop, who spent some time with the Marlins, then the Angels, then the Braves, and now in his 3rd year with the Pirates. And a good season. Been a workhorse. This is game number 47 for him.
Made over 200 career appearances now. He's been scored upon twice in his last 7 appearances. Last year he made a career high 76 appearances for the Buccos.
And if you're Pittsburgh, you have to be thinking, and we've been on the other end of this stick before, you have to be thinking, is that all we're up, 2-0? We've had a couple more opportunities here. Perhaps we should have more. A leadoff double in the 7th inning didn't produce a run. They had that crazy 4th inning where they could have had 3 or 4.
They've only stranded 4 runners, so Cook really done a good job minimizing damage.
Little bloop to left, base hit. There's your bloop. Who will hit the blast? Been talking about the Pirates relievers and just how good they've been. Their starters ERA is not as good as the Cardinals starters, but look at that bullpen ERA, ranked 2nd in the National League at 2.95 collectively.
And you see the Cardinals are at 10th, but the real difference as they get a lefty and a righty up, their bullpen has a record of 16-11, and the Cardinal bullpen has a record of 10-20.
There's your difference.
It's not more than 1 game difference.
David Freese singled in the 5th, took a pitch the other way. There's some room on that right side of the infield again, but he pulls it down the left field line. This ball's fair, and it's going to the corner. Beltran headed for 3rd. He's going to be held up there by Chris Maloney, and David Freese represents the tying run at 2nd base. Just like that.
Just like that to right. Scalzo's going to have a key at bat here. With 2 runners in scoring position. Daniel will be coming up here, but here's Freese. He just turns on that inside pitch and hits it into the left field corner, rattles around down there, and by the time we get it, Beltran will end up at 3rd, and Freese will pick up his 21st double.
I am a big fan of Daniel Descalzo, but he has had some ugly at-bats the last couple of days. Fly ball to left. Slicing. Is it deep enough? And it isn't. Good strong arm. How about that?
They say he could throw.
I believe him.
And he did a good job to surround, get behind that fly ball around the foul territory, and then come in charging. So watch how he'll circle around this to get his momentum coming forward, and then just unloads. Strong, accurate arm, hits the cutoff man. Scalzo's hoped for the sac fly. There may be a difference right there with Mahoney at 3rd base than Oquendo. Oquendo is always aggressive, and as you always say, you know, I don't care if they have a strong arm or not. They have to prove it to me that they can execute.
He proved it.
Still had to throw home.
That's true.
Could have been, you know, bang bang play at home, run through the catcher, knock it down, ball rattles around.
Tony Cruz walked, bounced out, battling his way through the Jake Westbrook start.
Tony's getting a little more of a fighting chance now as some playing time. Molina was on bereavement leave, and then these last few games. Remember, he's played Sunday. He had the off day Tuesday, and there you see the ball outside, but called a strike.
I'm sure Jose Oquendo is watching that, and he's steaming a little bit more.
I'm going to say after the first one, you got to swing at this one. The big strike zone, but you know that you've been out there catching, and you got to know that if it's somewhere close, you have to pull the trigger.
And under no circumstances can Tony Cruz lose his cool.
No, and that pitch there would have been a good pitch to take the other way, which could produce a run or even a sac fly or even drive it out into right center.
Tony Cruz can get mad all he wants, but he's going to have to internalize it, because you don't want to see Daniel Descalso catching.
And Descalso is the emergency catcher. I had to tell him that a couple years ago. He didn't know it. And the first thing an emergency catcher says is, come on, Tony Cruz, don't get hurt, don't get thrown out, don't do anything, but drive in 2 runs.
That sounds better. Cruz is jammed and fouls it back. Count stays at 1-2. Beltran is the runner at third. He led off with a base hit. David Freese doubled behind him. He's the runner at second. 1 out. Redbirds need to pick up at least 1 in this inning. And Chris Resop steps off. A lot of that tonight. Two and two. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Huge strike zone tonight. Both clubs not very happy with that. The Pirates happy with their 2-0 lead.
Go to that outside part of the plate again, and this time the call goes Tony's way. 3-2. A game inside the game. This is a big pitch.
You bet it is.
We walk a potential winning run.
Full count. Resop delivers. Slicing down the right field line and into the stands. He'll do it again.
Good cut. Pretty good pitch. The more pitches you see, the more chance you're going to see a mistake. Kirtle's got the strongest jaws in baseball.
Yeah, I think so.
He's always chewing it.
Working that gum.
It's like it's about 3 or 4 different sticks of bubble gum.
Yachty's working some. A lot of nervous energy here. important ball game for both clubs. 38,689 are prepared for this moment. Ground ball up the middle. Cardinals are going to score a run. Cruz is thrown out. It's 2-1. Freese advances to third. We have a final from Cincinnati. Closer Aroldis Chapman gets Alfonso Soriano to bounce out to the former Cardinal Scott Rowland. 7-3. The Reds win again against the Cubs. Both these clubs here trying to keep pace with Cincinnati.
And bring in Tony Watson. Appears with Burkall and Carpenter on deck behind that.
Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. And by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Clint Hurdle goes deeper into his bullpen. The Cardinals have picked up a run here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
So our Mid-America Chevy dealers call the bullpen. It's the right-hander Tony Cruz. Excuse, not Tony Cruz, but Juan Cruz. He recently off the disabled list. He's allowed one, or he's been scored upon in one of his 3 appearances since the DL. He was on for about 3 weeks with right shoulder inflammation. Batters are hitting .274 against him. Been around a long time now.
Came to spring training as a non-roster pitcher, had the number 77, but he earned a better number in spring training.
Well, he got to a good start.
Not a big guy, but he has a live arm. He misses high and away to Furcal. Tying run is at third base in David Freese here in the 7th inning.
He first came up, it was consistently 95, 96. Might be a better pitcher now, though, with a little age and less velocity.
Furcal pops it up. Barmes calling for it. Makes the play. Cardinals are retired, but they pick up a run on the 7th, inching closer to the Pirates, 2-1. Fox Sports Midwest, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Let's go to Pat Parrish in our studio. He has a Bommarito Sports update. Pat. Thanks, Pat. And a bit of a surprise, perhaps, to some. Jake Westbrook back out for the 8th inning. He is over 95 pitches. That delivery actually pitch number 96. He is working to the top of the order here in the 8th inning.
Much cooler night, so you stay a little stronger, not trying to deal with the heat we have had. And one of the Pirates asked me if also you've been really hot, but now this is the kind of weather you get in August. And I said, no, not quite. It will be for this weekend.
We'll look at the Pirates record in one-run games and the Cardinals record in one-run games, and the Redbirds are really going to have to improve in this area.
That's not good at all. Second worst in National League, the 12-20. Sometimes it's a little misleading as the Cardinals will rally and come back in a ball game and then fall a little bit short, but they have lost 20 games out of their bullpen. Zipchinski is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Grilly for the Pirates. Get down the 8th inning and they can turn it to Grilly like the Cardinals do with Boggs. And the 9th, Hanrahan leads the National League in saves. Cardinals got Mott. Take away that 4th inning and we'd be raving about Jake Westbrook.
No doubt. And he's still done a nice job, even with that 4th inning. Only 1 earned run. Walked 2 batters. Only 3 strikeouts, but a lot of ground balls. 3-1 now to Travis Snyder, the right fielder. Fly ball to left. 2 outs in the 8th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I noticed we gave that update on Cincinnati. Bronson Arroyo won that ball game for Cincy, and I had a letter I received at home from the Cardinal fan asking me if Bronson Arroyo was related to any former Cardinal pitcher named Arroyo. He is not. He's not related to Luis Arroyo, or in the minor leagues I played with a Rudy Arroyo. But he's not related to any Arroyo that pitched before.
And he's having a good season this year.
It's pretty steady, isn't he?
Keep waiting for that rotation to fold a bit.
5 starters all season long. That rarely happens. Dusty Baker's so happy with that because he has a misguided reputation where Dusty doesn't need anybody to defend him, but many people in baseball say he hurt a lot of pitchers. And Dusty, he's told me numerous times, when I got Kerry Wood and when I got Mark Pryor, they were already hurt. So
those would be the 2 main ones you think about because of the great promise they had.
And I can't think of anybody in San Francisco they had, or anybody in Cincinnati, really. Guys get hurt. It's not always the manager's fault.
Jake Westbrook, his numbers before his Tommy John surgery. We had a piece on that particular surgery in our open. Since his Tommy John, ERA's actually gotten better.
Win-loss is better, but a lot of things that come to mind there. You're more experienced, become a better pitcher. And a lot of people will say when you miss a year like that, you realize how lucky you were to be able to put on a major league uniform, how much you miss it, and how much you'll dedicate yourself to get back there.
I did not realize how many wins Tommy John had after his
more than he had before
himself surgery. I don't know what you call it. If Tommy John called his own surgery Tommy John surgery,
nerve transplant.
Probably right.
He didn't like that walk because that knocks him out of the ball game.
And this is the guy Zepchinski was warming up for, Garrett Jones, who hit 2 home runs yesterday. Zepchinski will make sure he doesn't do that tonight. We'll be right back. One of a 3-game series. Mike Matheny goes to his bullpen. First, we will show you our Home Depot doing more on defense. This came early in the 2nd inning. Freese, Descalzo, and Craig. A couple of double plays turned to help Jake Westbrook. David Freese has made a couple of nice plays over at third base tonight. Cardinals did make an error in that 4th inning, and that, along with a pass ball and a wild pitch, led to an unearned run. Cardinals trailing by 1. Zepchinski trying to keep it that way.
Worked today. Came in last night, stranded a couple runners, retiring the only batter he faced, pick up his 16th hold of the year. He will be a key to what happens to the Cardinals' chances down the stretch. He's got to pitch like he did last season when he was acquired in a big trade at the deadline. Lefty-lefty matchup, righty-righty. They're only as good as the execution. You can see why they brought in a lefty to face him with a batting average at 190 versus left-handed pitching. Fastball tying him up inside. Zepchinski got off to a slow start because of his really couldn't command his slider. That's his bread and butter pitch. And kind of felt like, I don't know why, it seemed like he was guiding it or something. Said he got to the point of trying to throw it a little harder. He started getting better tilt and command of it. There was one there. Had 0-2. Can he hit the spot way down and away? Got a good fastball too. He's got good sink on him. To me, he's going to throw the slider here. Good block. That one, so he overthrew. Jones has good power. He can hit it out of any ballpark. Another one in the dirt. Advancement on the wild pitch. So 2 in a row he's bounced up there to Tony Cruz. His speed, it's a big insurance run out there.
Gets Jones with the fastball. Good pitch for Zepchinski. Gets his man. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Things are going to get serious tonight. The Cardinals score 6 runs. Any size drink is just 50 cents all day tomorrow at your nearest on the run at Mobile. This year, 6 is a serious number. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Only 10 hits in this game. The Cardinals have the lone error. 2 more shots at this Pirate bullpen. And next up is their 8th inning reliever who's having a very good season. A bunch of strikeouts, 66 in 43 and a third innings. Jason Grilli.
Opponents only batting 189 against him, and left-handers are only 149. So Matt Carpenter's going to pinch hit here, and it falls right into place. And Glenn Hurdle. Glenn Hurdle had Grilli in his days in Colorado, and last season he really went to spring training. He had a hip problem, and once that was resolved, he was on a AAA contract. Once he got healthy, he had an escape clause. He exercised that, came to the Pirates. As a matter of fact, his first game last year with the Pirates against the Cardinals, and he's been outstanding ever since. Very fine setup man, and like you said, a lot of strikeouts. Gabby Sanchez takes over at first base.
He'll bat 9th. The pitcher Grilli will hit in Garrett Jones's spot as part of the double switch. Carpenter 7 for 25, 10 RBIs as a pinch hitter. And this is where it gets tough when you're playing the Pirates.
Yeah, they can be. They can reduce the game really basically down to 7 innings. If they can shut you down those last 2 innings with Grilly and Hanrahan.
Not impossible, just tough.
Foul ball.
Pirates have a fairly easy schedule going forward. 34 their next 44 or last 44 games were in the division, and they're going to play the Cubs some and the Astros some.
Cardinals have 6 games with them, including this one. And obviously the Cardinals have to score more than 1 run. Should have found that out last night. There you see the good fastball. He's also got a tremendous sinker. Get a lot of ground balls. It's very tough on left-handed batters, and doesn't have too much of a problem with righties either.
John Jay again arguing a call.
I'm not sure whether he's arguing or just not fighting not to say anything, but just turned around and looked, and it looked like it was another pitch that was up out of the strike zone. That one looked pretty good, but you got to know you're going to be swinging. Anything that's on the double edge black of the plate.
Liberal zone. Let's put it that way.
But it's been that way all night, so you've got to swing.
And you end up swinging like that.
Well, and he turned around and he asked, is that a strike? But that's what happens, is you kind of question your own judgment. Your ball's coming there, you got to determine whether breaking ball, fastball, whether you want to swing or not. And then you go, oh, it's a big strike zone, I got to swing either way, when I really don't want to. And it's up to a pitcher to come in a game and try and make that strike zone even be bigger. Coming inside. He throws it away.
And you know, we've seen this happen before. You have to be careful as a club not to start battling the umpire instead of battling the other team. And it's very easy to get so frustrated that becomes the focus of your attention.
And turn it around too, Rick. There are times when you'll have a lead, you're the pitcher out there, and you're doing a good job with that big strike zone. You don't want your own teammates to argue because you want to keep it going in your favor. And Gurley did the right thing there. Try and expand it. Try and get it a little more.
The triple edge black of the corner.
Right. Was Lee Wire around when you pitched?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Lee Wire would rush as far as the plate, and he'd get all the white, he'd get the black edges, and then a little bit more. He said, "Yep, that's how big it is tonight." But everybody knew it, and nobody argued with the strike zone because they knew he was the pitcher's umpire. Go up swinging.
2-2 to Jay. 1 out in the Cardinals' 8th. You can almost see how it's affected John Jay in his approach at the plate. He's feeling for this at bat now instead of being kind of confidently understanding what the strike zone is.
Exactly. And Grilly, with a veteran, he can work both sides of the plate. Really ran that cutter inside. Do you repeat it inside or do you go away? So you're probably going to go more away.
Hard hit right at the shortstop Barmes.
Where's the black, Ricky?
Well, we don't see it anymore, but we used to see a little edge on the corner of the plate.
And I think probably because they reduced the strike zone so much that they no longer have that black. And it used to be about, what, an inch worth?
About an inch, yeah.
Yeah, a black rubber, the same surface. And they used to be about an inch more of the plate. And as we said, Lee Wire said the black counts too. Now, Alan Craig and the Cardinal fans think that Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire, is against them too.
The conspiracy grows. A lot of close plays on the base pass today. We think they got most of those right, if not all of them. And the one that maybe they didn't get right went in the Cardinals' favor. Double play that perhaps wasn't.
And that's just the intensity as you get late in the season. Games mean a lot more. It's fun baseball. This is the first time, since '92, that both these two teams have winning records. First time since '92 that you see a Pirate club coming in here and playing meaningful games. It's good to see, not only for the Cardinals, but also for the Pirate fans.
Pirates are tired of hearing that word spoiler.
And Clint Hurdle's right. You know, why punish these young kids that have only been here for a year or two?
Right. There's a strike on the outside corner. That was a good pitch, and Craig knew it. Really a good 1-2-3 inning. Immediately following tonight's ball game, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Chris Duncan will be evaluating and dissecting game one of this three-game series between the Pirates and the Cardinals, and you're not going to want to miss their work. There's the score, 2-1 Pittsburgh. They've out-hit the Cardinals 6-4, and Mike Matheny goes back to his bullpen again. This time he calls on Fernando Salas to pitch the ninth.
Salas got the final Arizona batter in the ninth inning yesterday. Stranded an inherited runner. Pitched the final frame on Tuesday's win. Kind of going every other day, but Mike would have gone to other choices if the Cardinals would have tied this game or had a lead. Probably would have been a little different story, but it's up to Salas right now to keep this a 2-1 game, and the Cardinals will the final at bat.
Think he had any thought about Trevor Rosenthal?
had Trevor warming up back in the 6th inning. And then in the 7th inning, it was Mojica. Had Mojica warming up like if they would have tied this, gone ahead. Boggs has pitched like 3 days in a row and 4 out of 5, so he's probably off limits tonight.
See where Rosenthal would be a choice, but first game back, do you want to throw him into a 2-1 game against the team that you're really trying to chase in the wild card? And
Mike Matheny would love to use Trevor Rosenthal, but he's going to be very cautious when to do so. Rosenthal, who remember did take a loss in a game where he was like basically the last option, but he's going to have a bright future with the Cardinals, and there is the possibility that he could be the odd man out on Sunday when Garcia is added to the roster. But every time you're up here, whether you pitch or not, you're gaining valuable knowledge and experience. Every time you come back, you feel a little more part of the team.
Popped up behind the home plate, Tony Cruz retires his counterpart. 1 out in the 9th inning.
Salas last year led the ball club with his 24 saves, and really an up and down season for him, but we're starting to see a lot better consistency, the action of his pitches, and he'll be key also. Here's that guy again.
Let's just throw one underhand, see what happens. Just lob it in underhand like a softball. What would you do with it?
Bobby swings so hard he corkscrew himself in the ground and miss it.
That's what I'm thinking.
But Pedro has had some big numbers against the Cardinals, and I still maintain what he did in the first series against the Cardinals is what kept him in the big leagues in April and May.
They were down to their last nerve with Pedro Alvarez. He has 129 strikeouts on the season, 4th in the National League.
He was such a high draft pick, such a big commodity coming out of college. Selected by the Pirates in the 1st round, 2nd overall pick in the country. And when he got to the, that was in 09. He got to big leagues in 2010. And he hit 256 with 16 home runs and 64 RBIs in 95 games.
Let him swing 3-0.
Nobody takes anymore. But Alvarez had such a frustrating season last year. He hit 191. Remember, he was sent to the minor leagues, went all the way down to Bradenton and to the Gulf Coast League, like rookie league. And he was just lost. But he has hit the Cardinal pitching well this year.
Barmes has bounced out 3 times. Salas hoping to send his club to the bottom of the 9th, trailing just by 1. Middle of the order for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th inning. So some excitement left. Holiday, Beltran, and Freeze. And they will face the Pirates' best and the National League's best closer as far as saves are concerned.
Leads National League in saves, Hanrahan.
Good inning. Yes, we will. Good inning for Salas. Hanrahan will face that man, Mr. Holiday, that man, Carlos Beltran, and a World Series hero, Mr. Freeze. 2-1 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 9th inning. Cardinals with their last chance against Pittsburgh. David Freese is our Nissan drive of the game. This double, one of the very few balls, Al, that the Cardinals have hit hard today.
Cardinals only 4 hits tonight. They're going to have to do it against Hanrahan. We mentioned he leads the National League with 33 saves. He's converted a season high 13 straight opportunities. Does have 3 blown saves on the season. Batters are hitting 178 against the big Iowan. There's your National League save leaders. Mott with 27. He could have tied Chapman last night, but it wasn't to be. Give you an idea, the Cardinals have 27 saves, all by Jason Mott. Pittsburgh has 41 and 33 by Hanrahan. Just another indication how much stronger their bullpen is.
4 other pitchers with saves for the Pirates. But Hanrahan, their main guy, 4 for 10 against Hanrahan is Matt Holliday. The 1-0.
Pitched the 9th inning last night, or yesterday afternoon, in a non-save situation for Pittsburgh. I did my part today. I told Joel that he needed to go tend to business in Iowa for the next 3 days, but I guess he didn't get the true message.
Long one to right. Back to the track, and the play is made by the right fielder, Snyder. Holliday gave it a ride, and just how close did he come?
You know, this ball is earlier in the game. It may get over the head of the right fielder, but you can see he's already on the warning track. As no doubles defense, they don't want anything over the head of an outfielder that stays in the game. So you're going to have to hit it out of the ballpark. A lot of hits in front of the outfielders, though.
Beltran has the power and the ability to hit one out.
All you have to do is to see how deep they are, is just center a ball.
Big swing there.
Velocity will carry it. Had 40 saves a year ago.
Numbers better at home. 3-0, 1.38 ERA. The ERA over 4 on the road. Cardinals would like to add to that. 2-1 to Beltran. He's ready. And that pitch just misses the outside corner.
I'm sure the Pirates are saying that's been a strike all night.
Thinking the same thing. Go pitch here, 3-1. Beltran should be airing this swing out. And here it comes. It is ball 4. The Cardinals have the tying run on base here in the 9th.
Showed the Kirk Gibson home run between innings here that he hit off of Dennis Eckersley in the World Series. Kind of makes you think about Game 6 of the World Series, doesn't it?
Cardinal fans remember it. And they are on their feet right now in expectation.
Well, it seemed like 24 hours ago we saw what a home run could do in the 9th with 1 out.
Strike 1 to David Freese at the knees.
So only strike 1. It looked like it was a pretty good pitch. Don't let that get you. Don't let 1 strike defeat your at bat.
In the dirt. Blocked by McHenry.
Very solid with that block.
Beltran, the runner at first. Good speed there. Outfield still very deep. David Freese could win it with one swing of the bat. The 1-1. Fouled off. 1-2.
Mentioned Boggs probably not available. They have Mujica up if the Cardinals just tie it. But the Cardinal fans are looking for a lot more.
You bet. Beltran, short lead. Hanrahan is set. The 1-2. Low, 2-2.
Hanrahan 6'4", 250. Just 30 years of age from Des Moines, Iowa. The Pirates acquired him with last year's millage in the deal for Niger Morgan and Sean Burnett, the Washington Nationals.
Swing and a miss. Freese chases a slider. And the Cardinals now down to their 27th out.
David's got to think about this swing, and way off the plate. No chance he even make contact, but
so now it's up to Daniel Descalso. He does have 3 home runs.
A year ago he was Mr. Late and close and late, as he did a good job. 2 for 6.
Ball 1 to Descalso. Cardinals with Ryan Jackson, Shane Robinson, Skip Schumacher, and probably not Yadier Molina available on their bench. The 1-0. Fouled back.
Times it's the little hitters like Descalso, kind of pesky, kind of put the ball in play. They can flare or quail a ball off a hard thrower.
Good outfield defense for Pittsburgh. The 1-1. Check swing. Did not go. Good thing he said
everything,
that.
aren't they?
Hey, trying to get everybody in the act, huh? 2-1 is your count. 2-1 is your score. Bottom of the 9th. The pitch. Fouled off. 1 strike remains.
Got that overpowering fastball, 97, 98 miles an hour, but then that tight, late breaking slider that fools a lot of hitters. Clint Hurdle saying, I bring in my big man and I just stop managing.
Line drive foul. Way out in front of that pitch is Daniel Descalso.
That was the slider there, and he put a good swing on it, but way out in front.
So we'll do it again. Beltran walks off his lead. Beltran has to do everything he can do to get a good jump on a gapper. This is a very good outfield defense for the Pirates. And we've been thinking about home run, but if Descalso can hit one down the line somewhere, we could have some excitement at the plate.
Yeah, you just, in many ways, you would love the pinch run for him, but you can't afford in a close ball game to take Beltran out with those bad knees. The reason you think that way. Another good swing.
The battle continues.
Said a lot of little pesky hitters give hard throwers a lot of trouble.
Hard hit to center. McCutchen on the move and makes the play. Well hit by Descalzo. The Pirates take game one of the three-game series. 2-1 victory here tonight. And our Budweiser player of the game, the starting pitcher James McDonald, who was very good. 6 innings, no runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And the Cardinals battling here in the ninth, but they come up short.
When you looked at this pitching matchup, you thought it favored the Cardinals, but McDonald did a great job. So did Jake Westbrook. But Cardinals need to score more than 1 to beat just about anybody.
Don't go away. The Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live postgame show is coming up next.